Welcome to ABBS HR Connect, a web series which podcasts the employability skill requirements from various industry experts, organized by HR Club of Acharya Bangalore B-School. Today, among our midst, we have Mr. Ajitesh Basani, Executive Director at Acharya Bangalore B-School. He is the driving force behind the digital engine of ABBS. He spearheads initiatives across platforms. He is the eminent person who catalyzes the collaboration with foreign universities. We welcome you, sir, to ABBS HR Connect. Today, we thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you for inviting me for this platform.
Thank you, sir. So, we would like to know what are your plans for ABBS and what is the vision for ABBS and where do you want to see ABBS after 5 years from now?
The vision for ABBS has been quite clear from the beginning, and the focus has always been on getting institutional autonomy. The reason why I say autonomy is because we have more flexibility in designing courses, we have more opportunities in exploring new areas, and the other important aspect is the industry academia, that interface becomes a lot more easier because you're at the forefront of what is happening with the industry. So keeping that in mind, multidisciplinary education is something that we are focusing on, primarily because we have started off first with healthcare as as an institution under the trust, and we've built different institutions across different disciplines, and we have come to a place where the institutions can learn from each other, and courses can be designed more uniquely and more holistically because we do not know what the jobs of the future are. So for that we need to do a bit of experimentation from academics and making institutions, making ABBS specifically more autonomous in nature and eventually becoming a university is what we are focusing on, and providing that intellectual capital which is rich in research, rich in the faculty who come from both academics and from the industry. I think this is something that we have envisioned with a very focused orientation towards supply chain management, towards healthcare management. And recently we have also brought in MBA in business analytics. Being one of the first to introduce this, we thought the opportunities to explore are quite limitless. So what we are trying to do is identify those areas that come naturally to us. Secondly, that the industry is looking at, and bridge those two and build something upon it. Courses, whether it is short-term courses, whether it is courses that require a hybrid mode. So this is something that we believe will be the future. So the vision has always been towards this direction.
Well said, sir. Post-COVID, the business practices are having tremendous changes. How should business schools rethink about management education?
So post-COVID, I think we have seen a massive shift in the way people work in general, how people communicate, how people interact, and we have seen a general shift in behavior and attitude towards how work is looked at. And keeping that in mind, I think we have also kind of realized, we've had this HR conclave recently. We have realized that people are very, very interested in doing different things, and they would like to do things at their own pace, because gone are those days where there is a boss, there is a higher level of order in organizations, and people only did what they were told to. Today the opportunities are immense. Students don't have the issues of getting a job. Getting a job is not the issue. The issue is finding the right career path for that student. And we at ABBS are focusing on identifying that early on. If you do that early on, there is no question of whether a student got the right job or did he choose a sector that is relevant, because we are looking at it on a more individualistic basis, not looking at it as a company basis or a sector-wise basis, because students are different today than they were 5 years ago, and companies are working differently. Now, hybrid has become mainstream. People are going to work only in a couple of days, the rest of the time they're doing online. So, the world is changing so rapidly, and we as a business school are focusing more on, building that meta skills for these students. Knowledge is out there, they don't need to come to a business school for it. It is how they are in a position to learn and unlearn, and if they can do that continuously, and that you don't really need formal education. Students don't need to come to business schools for gaining any other expertise. So we are preparing them towards that. Our objective has always been to really look at the student from his lens, and see what is it that he or she likes, and pick domains, pick paths, career paths that could help them, sustain for a longer duration. The idea is not to get a first job and then, quit immediately, but we are preparing them to look at the first job as a good career, and it helps them understand their own strengths. It also helps them build a, practical career right after they graduate.
You told very correctly about the skills requirements and everything. It was fantastic stuff. So, could we know, or could you list down the best practices of ABBS?
Talking about best practices, we have a few things that we do very uniquely. Definitely, Toastmasters has been something that has existed in ABBS right from the beginning. Today, we are one of the top performing Toastmasters clubs in South India. And the reason why we have it is because it is a tried and tested method, and students constantly show interest, and secondly, they have seen results with it. So we have decided that this is something unique to us, and if you look at it on an overall basis, when you look at best practices, we have naturally inclined towards communication. And talking about communication, recently we have introduced theatre in management. And theatre in management is something that I think nobody else has done, what we have introduced into a B-School curriculum. The reason why I say this is, unlike the traditional curriculum of communication module, which is often written communication or oral communication, we thought, let's introduce theatre. Theatre can be effective, and it can be unique in terms of getting to understand what a student does in a group, or how he interacts with others, and how he is communicating in front of people, in front of interviews and all of that. So we've understood that this is something that has worked for us quite well, and we feel that this is an important core of what we do. And thirdly, I think the most important thing that we have initiated right from the beginning is the emphasis on sustainability. Our campus is green. When I say green, we have solar panels installed on our rooftops, which is about 200 kilowatts. And currently we generate 66% roughly more energy than we consume. So you can say we are net zero. And these practices helps us become more aware of what is required in the world. And it's not just connected to the electricity consumption. We do have a variety of flora and fauna within the campus. We have planted different varieties of trees. We do certain practices like vermicompost. We do certain practices where there is a lot of conservation of water and natural resources in general. So, keeping that in mind, I think going forward, we do plan on making it bigger, more not just at the level of ABBS, but around the community of ABBS. So you can say that these three are fundamentally what we are doing very, very effectively, and we are known for these things.
Good to hear about these practices, sir. And thank you so much for giving your views towards ABBS HR Connect.
Thank you, ma'am.
So much.
Thank you so much.